Hello and welcome. Appreciate you folks taking the time to check out this video. On this particular one, what I'm going to be doing is providing some spoiler-free thoughts, again, spoiler-free, on the very first episode entitled Don't Tell Dad of Revival, the new show coming to SYFY on June the 12th. Now, as I record this, about 3 weeks out from that premiere, I've had an opportunity to see the first episode, thanks to the awesome folks at the SYFY channel. But as SYFY and all the other networks and streamers will do, for those folks who do get early access to episodes, they, quote, embargo them as far as us that do get to see them not being able to share spoilers or specific items. So there's not going to be a lot of meat here as far as details about this first episode, but I will share a few thoughts without getting into too much detail that would get me in trouble or that you might want to know. Now, what I will do, though, is there was a trailer released by SYFY a couple of weeks back. I did a reaction to it here on the channel. I will talk about some stuff that's in there, and I will be sharing some images, the official images from the SYFY channel that have been released here on screen. So if you don't want to know anything at all, I'm not sure why you're watching this one. Maybe it came up and started autoplay. This would be your time to pause it or close it if you really don't want to even look at some images or hear some general thoughts about the episode. All right, if you're still here, I'm assuming that you do want to see those. So let's bring up on screen some of the official images, and credit to SYFY for releasing these. Now, do keep in mind, these are some of the official images that have been released so far by SYFY. These are only specific to the first episode. There have been some other photos made available, but those are for other episodes. So I'm just going to stick to the ones that are in the first episode. And what you're seeing here is some character photos from some of the main characters that you'll be meeting, and also a few screenshots here, such as this one, from the episode itself. So for this show is described, if you're not completely aware, in some of the materials I've been reading, as supernatural horror noir. And now that I've seen the first episode, I kind of get where they're coming at with all of those. Obviously, the supernatural aspect, as if you've seen the trailer or read in the info, the idea that some folks have come back to life. I don't like to use the zombie word because that's not very accurate to what's happening in the show. But that's a concept a lot of folks will be familiar with. Now, do keep in mind that since this is horror in the description, I wouldn't say that it's gross, certainly looking at the first episode in terms of those of you that are squeamish, in terms of turning you off, but there is a little bit there. This is a show that's going to be airing at 10 p.m., so keep that in mind in terms of the type of content that might be there. So there is a little bit of some grossness, some horror, action, and items that might get your attention real quick. Now, one of the things that I think is helping with that noir feel, and I got to give them a lot of credit for that I do like, is the use of the music in this first episode. They've done an excellent job very much setting the tone for some of the different scenes. So that, I think, is going to be some interesting stuff going forward to see there. Now, we do have our star of the show is none other than Melanie Scrofano, as many of you know from her roles on Wynonna Earp, as the lead character there, and also as Captain Patel on the latest iteration of Star Trek, Strange New Worlds. And there is a family aspect here for her character. That's part of what we see certainly from the trailer, and we'll see more of, which is good. Kind of grounds the situation in terms of what's going on here. There are, and I can't share details, but there are a couple of things that are in the action of her character, if you will, or some of the scenes you're going to see, that those of you that are fans of hers from Wynonna Earp and or from Star Trek, when you see certain scenes, you'll go, oh, I know what they're doing there. So I won't say much more than that, but I think if you're like me, it'll probably give you a smile when you see some of those. But it was very interesting to see how this is going to start to play out. Obviously, the first episode's job is to introduce you to some of the characters, the situation. We certainly get a chance to do that with what's going on. Mel is very much the star. She's in the majority of the scenes that are in this first episode, and they do a good job very much of bringing in the other characters. There's certainly going to be some mystery elements. You're not going to know everything right off the bat, but they do a good job of laying that out here and giving us some information on what those characters are going to be doing. So it is some good stuff. I'm very much on board. As I mentioned, I reacted to the trailer here on the channel. If you haven't seen that yet, you want to find that there in the videos, give it a watch. I believe each week I'll try to do a video kind of recap or review after each of the episodes is aired. Once it's aired, anything that happened is fair game for videos such as this, reviews, and so forth. So do look forward to that. One thing I do want to share, if you haven't seen the trailer, or if you have, you'll know why. For those of us who are big fans of Mel's work, certainly on Wynonna Earp, there was one brief item from the trailer that's very much in line, certainly with the great job that she does. One of the things, if you're not familiar with her yet, I think you'll really appreciate is Mel does a great job with her facial actions. She's very good at getting an idea for her character or something across, very much in what she can do with her face. She does a great job there with some of those things. So I think this particular quick scene that I'll share is very indicative of her skills as an actor, but also giving you a little bit of a feel for the character of Dana that she plays here on the show. So let me pull this one in real quick.
Because you know your big sister has a taser and a gun and a low moral bar.
Now that is very much on point, I think, for Mel, and I think it'll fit with Dana. Obviously, this is not the same tone-wise as Wynonna Earp, but it's going to be very interesting to see where we go. So I enjoyed it. I'm certainly on board. Hope you folks will be too. Looking forward to covering and sharing some more content here. Appreciate you taking the time. Feel free, drop a comment below based on this thoughts. Is this a show you're going to be giving a shot to? Or if you have any other thoughts, by all means, share them. We greatly appreciate it. All right, I hope you all take care.